Hey beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I'm Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm back with a tag video and I'm super excited because this is my very own tag that I created. As you can see, the title is Not Your Basic Booty Guru tag, and I just thought that would be like the perfect title because I actually used to get kind of offended when people would call beauty YouTubers booty gurus, and I just, as if like, you know, all beauty YouTubers are just so ridiculous. But then I kind of got over myself because I realized the term just didn't really apply to me and it was totally okay, and I kind of just laugh about it. And I think it is a funny term as well. Even though I am a beauty content creator, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a beauty guru. I've never considered myself a beauty guru, and I can kind of relate to some of the things that people find obnoxious, irritating, and things like that about booty gurus and why that term has been created. So with that, I have created the Not Your Basic Booty Guru tag. Alright, now I probably will be looking down here and there because I did take notes on my phone, as well as I've got the questions on my phone, so that's what I'm trying to do so I can kind of stay on topic and not make this video too long. I already know it's going to be pretty lengthy, so anyways, if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. But the first question is, people tend to think beauty YouTubers are experts, or should be, at doing makeup. Of course, that's not always true. What is one thing you struggle with doing? And I put a little side note just in case, even if you are a pro makeup artist, I bet there's still some things you struggle with, so please share. So for me, I have always struggled with wing liner, and thankfully I've actually been able to kind of conquer that just a little bit. I might still struggle a little bit, but I've been able to get better with the help of stamp liners, so I don't feel like the talent is necessarily like me. I've gotten help from the stamp liners, but you know, because aside from that, that's still kind of a struggle for me. Also, cut creases. I think I've done kind of cut creases here and there, but I don't do them very often, and I don't feel like when I try them I can achieve them very well. It's a specific type of style of makeup that I think is beautiful, but I have not mastered it. It is a struggle for me. Sometimes even foundation application. There are some days where I literally have to start my whole base, my whole face over again because my foundation just isn't laying right, or I did it too cakey, or just something messed up about it, and I'm just like, foundation should be one of those things that's pretty easy, but yet it's still kind of a struggle for me, and I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really mentioned that, but there it is. Those are the things that I struggle with. Moving on to number 2. On that note, are there any makeup techniques you'd like to improve or learn how to do? So for me, I feel like I'm always eager to learn more. Even the things that I feel like I am good at, I feel like I could always learn more of or become better at. In my opinion, there's always room for improvement no matter how good you are or where you're starting out from. But I did note that techniques that I'm working to improve include wing liner. While even though I feel like I've gotten that down fairly well, I'm still working on it. Blending is something that I'm always working on bettering my blending, learning more about blending and things like that. But another thing that I'm actually really intrigued to learn a little bit more about and understand really is color theory. I understand a little bit about color theory, but I don't feel like I'm super knowledgeable about it, but I really wish I were, so that way I could maybe step out of my color box just a little bit more to be able to create more unique and fun looks. Because I feel like I'm usually timid. I mean, I'm wearing a pretty bright, bold look today, so it's not like I'm timid with color, but with pairing colors. Sometimes I look at things, I'm like, I would like to create something really fun, but I always get stuck in which colors to pair and stick with the very safe colors. But stepping out from, like, say, doing a bunch of different colors, like, I just don't. I want to be able to do that more with confidence. Someone who I feel like does that really well is Katie Marie. She's always has some colorful looks where it's like, you know, a few different colors, which I would look at and think I don't think I would think to pair those together, but it still turned out beautifully. Like, I want to be able to have that kind of thought process. And then the other person that comes to mind is Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner. She has done videos on color theory and things like that and pairing colors, and a lot of times when she's testing out palettes and stuff, or at least from what I've seen, she'll pair together colors you just never would expect, and it comes together and you're like, wow, I never would have thought of that, and I just think it's so cool. So that is a technique that's something that I would really love to learn more All right, number 3, are there any makeup looks, styles, trends, or techniques you absolutely refuse to do or follow on yourself? Examples can be something like wing liner, false lashes, etc. The list can totally go on. So I actually added this question because I was discussing my tag and my questions with my friend Carol Lago here on YouTube and Instagram, and asked if she had any, thoughts on the questions, what she thought of them, if she could think of any questions that maybe should be added to this tag. And this was actually her question that she said or suggested that would be a great add-on to this tag, and I actually really agreed that it was a great one to add, because I think that we often can be made to feel like, or maybe just think that we have to do certain styles, trends, and techniques in order to be considered, good at makeup. There is that kind of maybe low-key, maybe sometimes high-key pressure that you have to do this in order to be considered good at makeup, you know what I mean? And so I just thought it was a really, great question to add, so I'd love to hear you guys' answers. But that being said, I don't actually feel like there's any that I can think of. I think maybe at the time when she suggested it, because it was a little bit ago, I might have had an answer in mind, but now reflecting on this question, I kind of don't think that there is anything that I absolutely refuse to try or that I refuse to do. I mean, maybe there's techniques and styles or whatever that I wouldn't like do every day, but would I refuse to try it? I don't know. I don't know if I could think of anything. Additionally, I do know that over time preferences change, and what I refuse to now may be something I actually end up loving in the future. And so with that actually kind of ties in and leads into my next question. So question number 4, are there any makeup trends or styles that you used to dislike but now love? Or vice versa, any that you used to love that now maybe you don't really care for doing or creating. And so this is kind of a long answer, a little bit of a backstory, but when I was in high school, I actually used to think that blush was super weird. Like I didn't get it. I thought it was almost funny looking. I didn't get it. But clearly, as you can see, I love blush. It is one of my favorite products. And oftentimes I definitely go heavy-handed with blush. I love a good, like a rosy cheek, So anyways, I just think that was so funny. But additionally, I also used to think that applying mascara to your bottom lashes was super weird. I never did that, and I don't know why. I try to think, like, why did I think that was weird? I don't quite know, but it's funny because now I almost feel like my makeup's incomplete if I don't have mascara on my lower lashes. There are some times where I'm doing a very, very basic, simple look and I just throw a little bit of mascara on my upper lashes and not my bottom for kind of like that no makeup look if I'm in a hurry one day, and that's fine. But for the most part, like, I just can't imagine not putting mascara on my lower lashes. Oh, also highlight. When highlight first became popular, I really didn't get that trend either. I specifically remember picking up, well, not really getting into it, but then when I kind of wanted to try it, I specifically remember buying the Too Faced like chandelier highlighter. I can't remember what it's called. I might even still have it somewhere, but it was one of those highlights that's so subtle that it's almost not a highlight. It gives almost like a soft luminosity, but it wasn't like a highlight like we know today. And I remember thinking, okay, I like this. I like this because it's soft. I like this because it doesn't look like a highlight. Because it really wasn't like a highlight. It was just nothing. But I couldn't get into highlights, and it wasn't until I believe I tried like the Makeup Revolution little heart highlights that I actually liked those. And then what really, really sold me on highlights is when I got my first highlight from Bitter Lace Beauty. And I just something about it, I just was like, wow, this is stunning. I might even have a video of me applying it. I'm not sure, either talking about it or applying it. I can't remember. If I can find a video or a clip, I'll put that in. I only swatched it on my hand so far. I have not put it on my face yet, but in my little video I took of it up close, I don't have a mirror right here, but I'm just gonna swipe it on. Whoa! She impresses them with these beautiful designs. It's like, they're so gorgeous. You'll have to check her out. I'll have to put her information in the description box below for you guys to check out. That's what it's like. Whoo, whoo, whoo. My goodness, I'm gonna be glowing now. And that's kind of what started my like love of highlighting. But before that, no, I thought I just couldn't get on board with that. I don't know why. And I have a couple more answers here for you. So more recently, like within the last maybe 4 years, maybe a little bit less, but I feel like within the last 4 years, previous to that, I could not stand the look of overlined lips. Like I'd see it on people and it was something that just like triggered me, I guess, which is kind of stupid. Like who cares if people overline their lips? But I know there are some people who probably understand and can relate. But you see the line and then you see the overline and it's just like, it's so obvious that it's overlined. Why do people do it? It doesn't look good. You know, very, very judgy and opinionated. And I'm kind of embarrassed to even admit that, but that's how I felt at the time. Until one day I tried it for myself. I didn't, and I don't, you guys know now, wear lipstick that often. So when I did, I remember putting it on and my upper lip is a little bit crooked, like one side is a little bit more full than the other, I can't remember, and one of them dips in just slightly. And so I remember I didn't like the way it kind of was uneven, so I just used a lip liner to kind of just adjust, you know, my lips to make them look a little bit more even up top. And I fell in love with that. I think it looks good. When I see other people overline their lips, it doesn't bother me. I think it still looks good. It's like to each their own, but it's just interesting that I used to like think it was so weird and didn't like it. And now I think it's nice. And then lastly, this one makes me laugh so hard because my brows are super bold and super blocky right now. I've kind of been doing a lot of the like more natural feathery brow looks, but I kind of go back and forth between my block brows and the feather brow look. But anyways, before I really did not like the look of blocked brows like this, the Instagram brow. I was not about it. It wasn't that I thought it looked bad, it just wasn't for me. I didn't like it for me. I could never imagine that I would ever wear my brows like this. I really liked rounded front and with the little arch and tail, and I don't know, this was actually more recent, I think within the last maybe year, last year and a half that I started doing my brows like this, and it was kind of just accidental because I was trying a new brow product and this just happened to be how I shaped my brows that day. And I fell in love with the way it looks, and I've been doing my brows kind of like this ever since. And so I just think it's interesting how much preferences can change over time, and I kind of love being able to admit that because we shouldn't have to feel stuck into a certain preference or a certain something. Just because we don't like something right now doesn't mean we won't like it in the future. Just because we like something now doesn't mean we eventually will stop liking. You know what I mean? It kind of, we all change, evolve in our thinking and our preferences, and that's just how it is. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on because that was a long answer. All right, number 5 is somewhat along the same lines of the last question, but this is, are there any beauty or makeup trends that most people hate, or that it seems like most people hate, that you actually maybe secretly like or love? I'm really curious to hear what people might admit to liking, because it seems like there's a lot of people who don't like certain things, and it's pretty well known. The things that I feel like people don't like that I actually do like are the fake freckles, and I know there are actually quite a bit of people who do like the fake freckles, because I feel like there's a lot of people who do them. But I feel like whenever I see like Instagram videos or things like that where they do the fake freckles, there's always like a bunch of comments about like, oh my gosh, fake freckles are so stupid, or, this doesn't even look natural, why are you doing that? Like, just, there's always the hater comments, but I actually think they look really cute. I've never tried fake freckles on myself. I don't really know how to do it, but I would like to try, because I just think in general freckles are just adorable. And then another thing is the highlighted nose and lip. Okay, I feel like there actually probably are a lot more people who like the highlighted nose versus the people who don't, but again, it's one of those things where if you see someone with an intense nose highlight or even like the little lip highlight mustache, there's always going to be those hater comments of like, you don't need to do that. I've gotten it before, like where, you know, you could see the highlight on my nose, and I've gotten comments of like, that just makes your nose look bigger, or that looks so stupid, why do people do that, it doesn't look good, it's blah 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 blah. But I think it looks cute, and I feel like I like it. That's it. And then lastly is just kind of referring back to one of my other answers, is that overlined lips. I feel like there are a lot of people who don't like the overlined lip look, but I like it. I think I don't mind it. I think it looks good. All right, moving on. Let's keep this short. Number 6, are there any makeup rules, quote unquote rules, or stereotypes that bother you? And my answer is simple, yes. There's probably more than this, but the main one that comes to mind when I think of like stereotypes from makeup is that glitter is only for strippers or teenagers or children. Clearly I'm wearing glitter. If you're familiar with my videos and my channel and my tutorials, you know that a lot of my looks include glitter. I love glitter, and I always feel like I still see comments about like,
why would I want to wear glitter? I'm not a stripper, or I'm not a child. And
it doesn't like bother me crazy, but I just think like, why is that even a stereotype? Why is that a thing? Maybe that used to be how things were, but glitter's for everybody. Let's not dull each other's sparkle, okay? Okay. All right. Number 7, what old news makeup products do you still love and use on the regular? So I have probably more than I can like list or think of, but I did write down a little list so I wouldn't forget, because I feel like I do use a lot of products that are technically old news. I mean, basically anything that was like last month is considered old news, but I was trying to kind of go back even further to some old news products. But like the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation, I still love and use that. The Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer is still a favorite of mine. Oh, the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealers, I still love those. I remember when they first came out and they were all the rage, but then once Shape Tape came out, like those were left in the dust. But I actually still really love and use those concealers. I think they're great. Additionally, speaking of concealers, the LA Girl Pro Concealers, I still love and use that. The Balm's Hot Mama Blush, you guys see me using that. I'm almost done with it. Additionally, the Milani Baked Blushes that used to be like all over YouTube. Those were like the drugstore blush to have. I still really love those blushes. I finished up one as well, and I have another one that I use here and there. If we want to throw it way back, I still use the Urban Decay Naked Basics palettes. Those are really great, really quick and easy go-to palettes to just use on the daily. And there's probably a lot more, but those are just a few of the kind of like old news products that I still use. So number 8 is it's possible that there may be a specific YouTuber or YouTubers that inspired you to start your channel, but I'd like to talk about what, if anything, YouTubers inspired you not to do. I wanted to talk about this because most of you guys might already know, but my channel wasn't started because I was inspired by a YouTuber. I actually didn't really start watching beauty YouTubers until a little bit after or during when I started my channel. And so with that in mind, like when I was watching these other YouTubers, more than anything, there was just things that I saw that I actually thought was kind of ridiculous that I wanted to make sure that I was not like with my channel. So that's kind of where this question comes from. The biggest thing for me was just over apologizing for some of the like silliest things. Just like,
oh my god, my nails aren't done, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you have to see me without makeup, you have to see my bare face.
Just for me, I just knew I didn't want to be like over apologetic for silly things like not being perfect, like for being human. I wasn't gonna apologize because you guys might see me without my hair done, which I never do my hair, or see me without a perfect manicure, or see my bare face and the fact that I have dark circles and acne. Like, I never understood apologizing for that. I get because we're beauty YouTubers. That doesn't mean that we're perfect though. And when I would see those things, I was like, I do not ever want to be like that. I hope that I never end up becoming like that. It's just, to me, it sets such a pretentious tone, as if you aren't perfect, then you aren't acceptable. And I could not get behind that. I didn't like that. And so that for me was the biggest thing that I knew that I didn't want for my channel. And that actually was inspired by other beauty YouTubers that I saw. It's kind of like one of those things where you can learn from someone two different ways. You can learn from them and do exactly what they do, or you can learn from them and don't do what they do, kind of a thing. So for me, that was it. So moving on, number 9, what beauty content do you love creating the most? So to be honest, I actually really love creating tutorials. It's really the main reason why I started my channel. Even though I'm not a professional makeup artist by any means, I really wanted to encourage and show people that just an average person can create beautiful makeup looks, which is what I was. I just was really a makeup enthusiast. I loved makeup. I showed makeup on my blog, but a lot of people were like kind of fascinated, like, how do you do this? I want to learn. I don't have any skills. And I just thought, like, I don't really have skills either. If I could do it, you could do it, kind of thing. So I still love creating tutorials. And while I'm not the most creative or the most talented, or I don't have all the knowledge, I feel like I still have something to share because an everyday average person who's not the best at makeup, but I feel like I can pull off a pretty look, and if I can, you totally can too. So I do love creating those still. But aside from that, I also really enjoy creating videos where I'm testing out new makeup. You guys have probably noticed I've been doing a lot more videos like that where I'm just almost doing a full face of new makeup. I feel like that gives me the chance to try new things that I'm receiving in PR, and you the chance to see a lot more in action compared to like if I were gonna just do one like a dedicated video or just a tutorial and I don't use everything. I really enjoy doing those videos, and more recently I've been enjoying creating content that makes you think, or that is contrary to the typical makeup community stereotype. So for example, I put in here that I have a video which I almost forgot that I did, and when I was thinking about this question, it came back to my mind. So I'm gonna link because I would love for you guys to watch it. But I did a video called "You Don't Have to Do That," and it's basically all about like makeup rules and makeup stereotypes that you don't have to do. So it was a little bit of a feisty video, and I really enjoyed doing that video. Additionally, I've been doing other videos like the makeup I want but won't buy and why, because I feel like that gives another perspective on makeup without having to buy it or without having to like feel like you need everything. And I really enjoyed doing those videos because I could talk about new makeup without feeling like I need to buy all the new makeup. And then my latest video kind of on this topic is why YouTubers don't use the products they rave about. So I just really love like discussion videos and kind of, you know, talking a little bit more about the beauty community and about just different things. I don't know, I really enjoy those ones. Oh, and then lastly I put, this isn't beauty related, but I love doing my fashion and style videos, the clothing try-ons and style inspiration, stuff like that. I find those to be so much fun. Those also get like the best views on my channel, so I really love creating that kind of content too. Okay, next up is a question that I thought would be great to put in here because I don't know if anybody really talks about this. I feel like I've talked about this in a couple different videos, like why I don't do reviews, why I don't do product panning and things like that. But the question is there any content that you create based on your audience request or interest that you actually don't really prefer to create? So for me, as I kind of already said, reviews is the biggest thing. I used to do reviews, but I kind of stopped doing them because I don't enjoy them anymore. For me, I just wrote, I used to love reviewing products, but people tend to be so picky about reviews, what should and shouldn't be said and done, and what makes a review and things like that. It just, I don't even feel like they're really helpful anymore, and I don't enjoy doing them. It's just too much of like pressure and too much of a burden. So I actually don't enjoy that content, but I do know that I still get requests for me to review things. So that's why I kind of started doing my Beauty Rewind series. So if you're new here, my Beauty Rewind series is a monthly series. It's a video I do at the beginning, like within the first week of each month, where I kind of give an overview of all the new products I tried in the previous month after having used them for about the month or a couple weeks at least, to give somewhat a review, you know what I mean? And also my empties videos, because this way I can kind of do a group of a lot of products all in one video, not just one review video, which does take a lot of time and effort, and oftentimes doesn't even get viewed that very well. I could give an overview of all the products, my experience, my thoughts of all the products that I've tried without having to actually call it a review, and I feel like it's still pretty helpful in a sense, you know, like a review would be, but without it being a real review, if that makes sense. So Number 11 is, how often do you film? So I actually only really get the chance to film 1 day a week, and if I'm lucky, I can film 2 days a week. Typically, the days I film are Mondays or Fridays. Those are like the best days for me to film. And there actually are some weeks where I don't get any day to film. It's kind of crazy. And so because of that, I try to film at least 2 videos. That would be the least amount that I try to film each day I film. But I try, if I can, shoot for anywhere from 3 to 4 videos in 1 day, because if I don't, then it's like I run out of content, which the last couple weeks has been like that, because there's been a couple weeks where I haven't had any days to film and I haven't had content to put on my channel. But if I have at least 3 or 4 videos filmed from 1 day, at least that can take me a week and a half or something in between filming. But it's been a couple weeks when I haven't been able to film, so it's been a little bit rough. Anyways, so moving on, number 12, do you have a job outside of YouTube? And I put this question there even though probably a lot of people don't consider YouTube their job yet. Like, I don't consider it my job yet, but there might be some people who might answer this question if YouTube is their job. I don't know. So I just figured, you know, to ask this question if you have a job aside from doing YouTube, and I actually do. I work for NBA Cosmetics as well as Beauty Junkies, and I am very fortunate that I can do those jobs from home. So that is really nice, but they still do take up quite a bit of time because I help run their social media as well as create content for both of the brands. Additionally, I am a mom of 3 kids who keep me and my husband very busy between school activities. They're very involved in school as well as sports and things like that. We are a very busy family. And we all know if you've got kids, that is a full-time job on its own. Moving on to number 13. What beauty content do you enjoy consuming, watching the most? So for me, there is not really necessarily a type of content that I enjoy most. It's usually the people that I enjoy. There are just some people that I really don't care what content they create. I just enjoy watching them. But I will say that if I had to choose a topic, it would be anything that I can learn from or that makes me think. So I put down here for examples, whether it's a new technique, a makeup tutorial, info on ingredients, info on products, even if it's something I feel like I already know how to do, you know what I mean? I still love learning and see how other people do things. So I like watching tutorials because it's fun and interesting to me to see how other people create a look. I can usually see even a thumbnail of something, of makeup look, and think I can probably recreate that. I don't need to watch the tutorial, but I still will watch it because I enjoy seeing how other people create looks, and sometimes I can learn something new that I never would have thought of before. So that's why I still enjoy that kind of content. And then I also enjoy clothing fashion videos, try on hauls and things like that. And then lastly, I really like videos that help me think about different perspectives on beauty or YouTube topics. Like Lauren Made Beauty, her tube talks. I really enjoy those videos. I love hearing people's perspectives on things. I just find it very fascinating, very interesting. And I do have to admit that I do enjoy a little bit of drama videos and drama channels. In all honesty, I feel like drama channels are like the modern day version of soap operas, which we all know our mamas watched. I know my mom did. She got me sucked into some soaps before, but I feel like drama channels are like the modern day soap operas. So they're just kind of interesting to watch. Number 14, any non-makeup channels that you love. And I have 2. There might be other ones, but 2 off the top of my head. The first one I wrote down is Dr. Mike. He has his own like family practice and things like that, but I don't even know how or why, but it was recommended quite a long time ago. A video popped up of like real doctor reacts to like a doctor TV series like House or Grey's Anatomy or something like that. It was one of those videos and it was like doctor reacts to Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, oh, that might be interesting. And it was actually really funny, really interesting. He does like doctor reacts to doctor memes, which are always really funny, which actually got me on the thought of like, I would love to do one day. I've thought about this for a while now, but I just haven't yet because I'm not sure how well it would be received. But I wanted to do a like Christian reacts to Christian memes, because there are some really funny Christian memes out there, and it makes me think like, I wonder if people think that Christians get offended by this, but I find them hilarious, some of them, and I thought it would be funny to do a video like that. But anyways, that would have been inspired by Dr. Mike. I really like his channel. He's very likable, a very handsome guy. I definitely recommend him. I think even if you're not into doctor stuff, you'll like his channel. And then the other one is Dr. Pimple Popper, which that's the channel name. She also has a Instagram channel, but it's Dr. Sandra Lee, MD. I've talked about her on my channel before as well because I am on their PR list. They have, she has like skincare products. And so, but even before I was on their PR list, like I love her channel. I love her Instagram account. I will sit and watch video after video after video of people popping zits, blackheads, and things like that. It's just oddly satisfying to me. I know a lot of people think it's disgusting and gross, but for me, very satisfying. Love watching love watching her videos and her channel. So those are 2 non-makeup or beauty related channels that I really, really love. Next up, number 15. Are there any makeup misconceptions because of YouTube or Instagram that you wish that people knew the truth about, or that you hope to change with your channel? So for me, it would be the way that makeup looks in real life without pretty lights, filters, special lenses, and Photoshop. I really think that's like a the biggest misconception that really bothers me, and I'm sure there's others, but that's the one that really bothers me about, you know, YouTube and Instagram is, you know, people see this perfect photo or video or person, and it's oftentimes not reality, and it just makes me sad that so many people no longer like the way they look, unless they have a filter, because of unrealistic beauty standards in the beauty community. And truth be told, the blame can't all be put on like the beauty community or Instagram or YouTube, because, you know, it's not just that unrealistic standard has been there for like ever, you know, in magazines and movies and things like that. It's always kind of been there, but I feel like with more social media, and especially like Snapchat filters and things like that, it's like we have such a distorted view on what is beautiful and what is just reality, that it just really has, I feel like, twisted you know, our thinking quite a bit. And I just put, for example, that I actually know a few people who now refuse, like literally refuse, to take a photo of themselves without a Snapchat filter on it. And this is not me being mean or judgmental of them. They've literally like told me that they don't like the way they look in regular photos anymore. And I find that sad, because these are gorgeous women. These are gorgeous women that I know, that there's nothing wrong with the way they look, but now they cannot like unsee the way they look so perfect with a Snapchat filter, that they don't want to see themselves any other way. They don't want to see the reality of themselves, if that makes sense. So for me, like what I hope to do with my channel is just to show a little bit more reality, and to encourage people that you're still beautiful with your imperfections. You're still beautiful whether you have acne, or if you're like not a certain size, or you know, if you have gray hair. You know, I want people to see that you're still beautiful. Like, I know, you know, I do have nice studio lights, and I feel like they can definitely help me look a little bit better, but I don't filter my, you know, videos. I don't crazy Photoshop my photos. Well, I don't Photoshop them at all. The most I do with the editing of my photos is to adjust the saturation of the color or the contrast, just to make sure it looks true to life. But I don't, you know, smooth my face. I don't edit out blemishes. I mean, most of the time, if I have a blemish on my skin, on my face, you guys see it. I don't even try to cover it up that much, because I don't care. I don't find that having acne makes someone ugly, you know. So I hope to encourage people in that way. That's something I would like to see change, that just because you have a flaw or an imperfection, it does not mean you are ugly. And I wish more people would see that, instead of this like twisted, you know, version of what is true beauty, you know what I mean? Not to say that someone who is perfect isn't beautiful, but just because you're not that doesn't mean you're not beautiful. You know what I mean? So I could totally go off on a tangent and a rant on that whole thing, so I won't. We're gonna stop right there. But that's like the biggest thing, and that's something that I do hope that people see in my channel. I do hope that they leave feeling encouraged, because I'm not perfect, and I'm not going to pretend to be. I'm not going to hide that, and I hope that people feel encouraged by seeing that, instead of just another, you know, perfect person in the beauty community. Number 16, have you ever felt unqualified or like a bad beauty YouTuber because you didn't do things just like every other beauty guru? So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of try to read this, because this one is kind of a long one. I don't want to go off tangent like I feel like I've been, but I put, yes, for many reasons. It used to be that I didn't think that my makeup looks were glam or worthy enough, because I didn't always wear false lashes or do winged liner. And while I've learned to do those things and use them here and there in my looks, I did have to realize that while lashes and liner are great, they are not a must, and that I am still good enough without them. So that was like it really was a big thing for me. I really felt like I wasn't it. Like my stuff wasn't worthy of being a beauty creator, because I didn't wear lashes or do wing liner. And so that was kind of a tough one for me, but I have eventually kind of gotten over that clearly. Secondly, I've never been one who stayed on top of all the trends and knew everything about every new makeup release. And I used to think that that meant that I was a bad beauty guru, almost like it was a requirement to be able to do beauty YouTube. So if you didn't know about all the latest releases, like you were like a nobody. At least that's what I felt like. But in reality, I do think it's fine. And actually what's probably best for me, to be honest, because I'm usually always content with everything that I have and I'm not pining over the newest thing or what's next. And that's not to say that I never want something new or that I don't ever get excited about something new that's launching, because I definitely do. There are products that I see that are new and I'm like, ooh, I would love to have that, but it's not everything and I don't know about everything. And because of that, I don't get FOMO. I don't get really FOMO ever. And I do think that there is a space in the beauty community for those who are not always talking about or always pushing or trying the newest products, and just to be able to enjoy what you have. I feel like for me, I have a pretty good balance on my channel. While I do have a lot of new products to show you guys, it's because I get PR. So if I'm getting the free product, of course I'm going to show it. I'm very thankful for the products I receive and the brands that think something of me to send them to me. But I feel like I also do a pretty good job at using a lot of older products, a lot of products that maybe people aren't talking about anymore, but I'm still trying to create content with and provide content for those who have bought something a while ago that maybe is old news now, but maybe you still want inspiration with it. Maybe you still want to see content with it. I do try to provide that for my channel, so I feel like I have a fairly good balance. But there was a time where I felt like if I didn't have the newest thing, that that made me a bad beauty YouTuber, that I almost feel like that's a staple, that's a must for being a beauty content creator. But I really learned that it's not, and it's a good thing actually for me personally. All right, moving on closer to the end. The next two questions came to mind because I actually had a dream of my friend Carol Lago, the one I mentioned earlier. I had a dream that she had come out with her own brand and created a beautiful highlight. And in my dream, I specifically remembered that she named the highlight Jimmy after her husband because he was the highlight of her life. And it's kind of a random thing to mention, but it's just a weird dream I had. I don't know where it came from, but anyways, it made me think of these next two questions that I wanted to add to this tag video. So number 17, if you can collaborate with a brand, which would it be and what would you create? Now, it's maybe not so well known, but if you know me and you've been following me for a while, you know that I have actually collaborated with a brand before. I did collaborate with NBA Cosmetics to create my very own eyeshadow collection. Now this was a few years ago, but the eyeshadow collection is still available for purchase, and if you want to learn more about it, I actually did a video all about it, so if you want to learn about it, I'll link that video for you guys to check out if you are curious. All right, I'm not sure if anything looks different lighting wise, but I had to stop for a minute to take my daughter somewhere for some schoolwork stuff, so mom life. All right, so I know that we were on question 17 and I was talking about my collab with NBA Cosmetics, and I think I left off where I was gonna talk about a potential collab. I have been talking with Beauty Junkies about doing a collab with them on a brush set, as well as creating some new brushes for the set, as well as their brush line in general. So that's maybe a possibility for the future. I don't know, nothing's set in stone right now, but we have talked about that, and so I think that would be a really fun collab that I'd be really excited about if that happens to come to fruition. But if I were gonna do another collab with like another brand, I think what I would create, or that I would love to create, is a lip plumping or a lip tingling lip gloss, or a lip gloss collection, because you guys know I love my glosses and I love a good tingly lip gloss. I think that would be so fun to create. Otherwise, an eyeshadow palette, that one's a little bit tougher because I feel like there's so many eyeshadow palettes, so many color stories and things that have already been done. I think it would be kind of hard to do that, but I still think it would be really fun to create my own eyeshadow palette with a brand. But that being said, as for what brand would I collab with, I'm not sure. I really don't have any specific one in mind, or like any kind of goal. I feel like I would want to collab with a brand that was like more affordable in range, but I would also want to collab with a brand that's really well known. Of course, it'd have to be a brand that I really love. So I don't know what brand I would collab with, but those are kind of the products that I know at least I would probably like to create. So moving on to question number 18. Would you rather collaborate with a brand or create your own makeup or beauty line? So in all honesty, I think I would rather just collaborate with a brand. I kind of think that it would be a little bit easier. Right now, I really just don't have any desire to create my own brand. It's just not something I imagine I'd really have a ton of interest in doing, but you never know, maybe in the future that might be something I'm interested in doing, but as of right now, I don't see myself coming out with my own kind of brand for makeup. But going back to collaborating with a brand, I would prefer to do that as long as I was more than just like the face of a product, you know what I mean? I don't want to just be the face of the collab. I want to be able to have some, you know, input and authority on the products, you know, the colors, the names, the formula, and things like that. I wouldn't want to just be like the face of a collab. I don't know how realistic that is. I don't know how much, you know, influencers and people who do collabs, like how much they really have like in control or authority over their collabs, or if they are just like the face of collabs. I'm not quite sure, but I would definitely want to not be just the face of a collab. So that would be my preference if that were the option. And then lastly, the last question, finally, number 19. Because your average booty guru doesn't always like to do this or give credit where credit is due, come on, we know that, I wanted to do a shout out for one of the questions. So it's not really a question, but it is one of the things I wanted to include. I would like everyone who does this tag to name 3 beauty content creators that you think deserve more followers or more recognition. These are the 3 that I picked, but again, there's just so many out there. So the first one is Teresa from Teresa is Dead. Now this is a channel that is not, it's not family friendly, it is not safe for work, it is not one that I listen to around my kids. Her channel is definitely very much so more adult, very much so kind of out there.
If you are new to this channel, welcome. Hi, my name is Teresa. I usually say a lot of self-deprecating things and I curse a lot, so I hope you don't mind. Your baby sucks. So I actually really like this box. It's nice and black, like my soul. You're gonna get to know a lot about me, and I understand if you don't want to follow me anymore. Like, I get it. I totally get it.
She is a beauty channel. She does reviews on products and palettes and things like that, but she has this thing where she does like a little story time in the very beginning of all of her videos, and they are hilarious. Okay, she lives in New York, so she's got all kinds of stories about like riding you know, the subway and the buses and just experiences with different people. She's got work work stories, and she is just so hilarious. It's really nothing that has to do with the makeup, but I honestly live for her stories, and I think more people need to know about her. Her editing is really clever and creative, and I just think that if you're into like that kind of content, please check her out. She's fascinating. I just love her channel, and can't seem to get enough of it. And then next up is someone that I have mentioned before, Alexandria Sutton, but I wanted to mention her again because I just think she definitely deserves more recognition. She's very creative. She creates some beautiful, colorful eye looks. She has unique content. A lot of times she has content that kind of reminds me of like Lauren Mae Beauty,
but overall, they're pretty innovative. Well, are they? Saying things they'll regret at the Christmas party. The brand who is stealing everybody's present. Who could it be?
Just a lot of kind of chattier, make you think content, which you guys know I like. She does a lot of videos where she's using products that she already has in her own collections without having to buy more. She kind of keeps track of it in like a little bullet journal where she shows all the products that she used the most each month and things like that. So I really just think she deserves a lot more followers, a lot more views. I really enjoy her content. I think she's very, very sweet, interesting, a little bit feisty, and I like that about her. So definitely check her out. And then lastly on my list for shout outs is Angie Bergs. Now she is a chemist who is into makeup, and so her little title is Makeup from a Chemist Perspective, and I find her videos fascinating. They're pretty quick and to the point, which I'm sure a lot of you guys will appreciate, but she does reviews and ingredient analysis from a chemist's point of view, as well as discusses different topics from a chemist's point of view, which I think is just so interesting, because I don't know anything. I mean, I can learn a little bit about ingredients, what they do, if they're beneficial, but I'm not a chemist. I don't know that stuff, so it's really interesting and intriguing to me to learn from her and to hear her talk about things.
Hi there, today I'm going to talk about why the Morphe Fluidity Foundation is bad for dry skin. I am going to share this by looking at the ingredients in the Morphe Fluidity Foundation and how these ingredients are bad for dry skin. On the other hand, we're going to talk about how these ingredients might make this Morphe foundation ideal for somebody who has oily skin. So let's just get into the first ingredient. So the first ingredient is cyclopentasiloxane, which is a liquid silicone. Silicones help the product spread easily and evenly out on the skin, and this one in particular is volatile.
So just for a quick rundown, here's a few of her recent videos. So her last video is a chemist's opinion on Claire's asbestos controversy, and then chemist reviews knockoff Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. The Tarte Face Tape Foundation versus Shape Tape Foundation. Chemist compares the formulas. She's done, information on the James Charles palette and the pinks and the eye irritation and her thoughts on that, and kind of breaks things down, and I just think it's so interesting. She has a little over 3,000 subscribers and gets a few hundred views per video, but I definitely think she deserves more recognition. I find her fascinating. I think a lot of you guys will too, especially if you are interested in learning a little bit more about ingredients, what they do, why they're beneficial, why they're in products and things like that. If you want to really dig deep and learn a little bit more about your makeup without it being like too I don't understand this, like she really makes it simple and enjoyable to watch. So I think you guys would enjoy her. So that is my third shout out, and that wraps it up for this tag and all my questions. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tag and these questions and hearing my thoughts and my answers. I know this was extremely long-winded, but I really kind of want to dig a little bit deeper and ask some good meaty questions about the beauty community and being a beauty content creator. So I hope you guys found it interesting and informative, and if you feel connected to any of these questions and feel like you would like to give your opinion and your answers if you're a beauty content creator, I would love for you to do this tag. I would be absolutely honored. I will definitely do a playlist, and if you decide to do this tag, please let me know so I could go watch, show you guys some love, add you to the playlist. And then for the viewers, those watching this video, if you're just a subscriber, if you're not a beauty content creator, I would still love to hear your thoughts and opinions on these questions and on my answers and have a discussion, because you guys know I love that. So I really do hope you guys found this video enjoyable, and I hope it was something that kind of made you think and gave you my perspective on a lot of different topics within the beauty community and within booty guru opinions and things like that. So with all that being said, I just want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes. Mwah!